everyone. So I wanted to follow up on this story of Cyntoia Brown, all right, because there's been a few more developments since she's been released from jail. Now, just to kind of give you a recap, Cyntoia Brown, featured here, was released from a Tennessee jail or prison after serving about 15 years of a life sentence. She was convicted in 2004 she was convicted of the 2004 murder of Johnny Allen. Okay. Now, since Cyntoia's been in jail, she has gotten her college degree. She's also, been an advocate for sex trafficking. And what a lot of people didn't know, including myself, she got married while she was in jail. So Cyntoia Brown walked out of jail last week as a married woman, and she had been married for several months to this man right here. His name is Jamie Long. He goes by J Long. He's been in the music industry for a little over a decade or so. He comes from a long line of musicians. His grandfather, Curtis Long, was a famous guitarist who played with B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland. And his uncle, Huey Long, was a vocalist and guitarist for the famous Ink Spots. They was one of America's most influential all-black vocal groups that rose to international fame way back in the 1930s. So this man comes from music. And he also was a member of Pretty Ricky. I guess after Pretty Ricky disbanded and tried to get back together, he, I guess, was one of their new members or something like that. All right. So when people found out that Cyntoia was married, of course, a lot of people were like, wait, how is she married and I can't even get a text back? I can't even get a date. But this woman been in jail for the last 15 years and she walking out of jail with a husband. Well, Cyntoia's walking out of jail with more than a husband. She has a book deal. She has a book that is dropping in October. And I'm sure once she steps out of jail, she's also going to be interviewed, or she's going to probably be interviewed. Now, Jamie was also married to this woman right here. This is Pam Long of the R&B trio Total. I love when she do that. I'm sorry. Now, when I found out that Pam was formerly married to Jamie Long, the first thing I said, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, I honestly thought that Pam was gay. I have always thought that Pam was gay. So when I found out that Pam was married, I'm like, what? Yeah. So Pam got married to Jamie Long in 2013, and their divorce was finalized this past February. So February of 2019 is when their divorce was finalized. So that begs the question, when did Jamie started dating or courting Cyntoia? Now, I have to mention this. There are no conjugals in Tennessee. So, I don't know if they were writing letters to each other. I guess he was coming to visit her at the prison. I don't know how they met. It's very sketchy. Nobody really knows the details of how him and Cyntoia got together. But apparently they've been married long enough for her to... I don't know. It's just very, very sketchy. The details are very, very sketchy about Cyntoia, the timeline with him and Cyntoia. I have no idea. But what I do know is that Pam, who is now a Christian artist, so she's kind of moved out of the secular world. And, judging on her Instagram, she just seems like a devout Christian. And, she talks about God all the time. She's always involved in some kind of church activity. But she decided after, I guess, news dropped that her ex-husband and Cyntoia were now married, she decided to go ahead and speak to Kyle from the Neighborhood Talk. Now, the Neighborhood Talk is a blog. I follow them on Instagram. And so Pam decided she was going to go ahead and speak about seeing her ex-husband now being married to Cyntoia Brown. Now, this is a different kind of case, right? She probably wouldn't necessarily talk about it if it was anybody else. But considering the circumstances surrounding Cyntoia Brown and the fact that she went into prison as a teenager, I feel like Pam was compelled to speak on it. Okay. And she doesn't have any pleasant things to say about her ex-husband. She says, this man is diabolical and he is such a manipulator. The way this man pursued this woman is the way he did me. He came and found me using the same card. He was a Christian artist, said Pamela. May the Lord God protect her and her money. It's about who she is in the public eye and what she has. By her having this face in the media, it helps him to have a chance to be around what he deems as the elites, she exclaimed. Mr. Long may be able to hide behind his handsome looks of being a good man, but God knows the heart and exposure is coming. And Pam claims that Mr. Long will do anything in his power to gain fame and fortune. She also wants the world to know that in no way is she bitter because she's better. She wishes them the best. And so after I read that, I thought to myself, now, again, me personally, I would not warn the new woman as the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend. I wouldn't personally warn the new woman about anything that my ex did or was about. She would have to figure that out on her own. Okay, because of course, the first thing people are going to say is that she's bitter. Why is she involving herself? That don't have nothing to do with her. But I think, judging by what I see from Pam, she seems very unproblematic. She rarely says anything publicly. She is not all over social media at all. So for her to come out, I think she was trying to come from a genuine place. Because like I said before, this is a different kind of circumstance. Cyntoia's been in jail for half of her life, since she was a teenager, having no experience with having boyfriends and things like that. And now she is a married woman, married to this man here, who, again, as Pam has stated, is a master manipulator and is using her the way he used Pam. Now, some people are going to say she is bitter. Some people are just going to have that opinion that, Pam must be bitter. Here's the thing. I do want to believe Pam. I do. I absolutely do. I don't feel like she has a reason to lie on him. But at the same token, I want to give this man at least, I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, because in some cases, a man will change for who they want to change for. He may have definitely been that way with Pam. And I'm not saying that he wasn't. He probably was. But in this case, maybe he's changed. Maybe he's turned his life around. I hope he has. I really do. Now, I was all set to believe that, maybe this man is a different kind of man. Maybe he's not like that anymore, until I decided to go on Lipstick Alley. If you ever want to find out some real juicy gossip, go on Lipstick Alley. It's hard sometimes to watch all that stuff and to read all that stuff, but trust me, you get a lot of tea from Lipstick Alley. So when I went on Lipstick Alley, once this story hit, I got some really juicy gossip off of there. Now, it turns out I saw somebody posted this that he posted a while ago. It says, happy wife, happy life. To God be the glory. Not even prison can stop God's plan. Hashtag Mrs. Long. Hashtag Sin. Hashtag Cyntoia Brown-Long. This, as they said, was posted in January of 2019. Okay? Remember that date. J. Long posted this here in January of 2019. This was also posted by somebody that, congratulations to J. Long, former Houston resident and former member of R&B group Pretty Ricky. The big news is his wife, Cyntoia Brown, has been granted clemency by the governor of Tennessee. I'm sure y'all know the rest of the story. Long says they were married during her incarceration. All right. Now again, January of 2019. And that's why I'm giving him the side eye. So I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt until I saw this. He was legally divorced. His divorce was finalized in February of 2019 to Pam. So how did he marry Cyntoia in January of 2019? Like, the dates, you got to make it make sense to me. Because if he was married to Cyntoia in January of 2019, how long was he dating her prior to actually getting married to her? Now, remember, Cyntoia's case kind of went public, and she started gaining all this notoriety about a year ago when Rihanna caught wind of her story, and it picked up and all this hashtag free Cyntoia Brown. So how long was he dating Cyntoia prior? Was he dating her prior to Rihanna putting her story out there? Or did he start dating Cyntoia after she gained notoriety? And that's the question here. Then for him to have gotten married to her in January, but his divorce from Pam was finalized in February. The dates are not adding up, which is why I said before I was more compelled to believe Pam. And I'm hoping that this dude is not trying to get or pull a fast one over on Cyntoia. All right. This girl has been locked up since she was a teenager. This is her first shot at hope, love, marriage. She's very young. She's only 31 years old. Children. Okay. So I'm hoping that this dude ain't out here to try to get her for her money, because he knows that a lot of money is about to come. I'm sure she's going to get paid very, very well for this book deal. And you know she's going to be doing interviews all over. You know they're going to want Dateline, going to want to see her. You know what I'm saying? 2020. All these different shows are going to want to sit down and talk to her. Trust me. So I don't know. Did he hitch his wagon to somebody that he knew was about to come into some money? Or does he genuinely love her? We don't know. We don't know. One thing I'm concerned about is this is a woman, like I've stated more than once, who has been in jail for a long time. And while I understand if a person's been locked up that long, they want to run out, again, no conjugals, I would probably be running out to the first man too. Okay. I ain't going to even sit here and lie, but I'm sure she probably definitely needs help with transitioning back into the world. Okay. She definitely needs a therapist. There's a lot of support she's going to need as she transitions back into a world that she hasn't been in for a really long time. And so I hope that he can help her, and I hope he's not hurting her in that regard. Now, a lot of people did not like my last video that I made about Cyntoia, and I got to say, listen, while everybody's sitting here, including myself, sitting here worrying about if Jay Long is going to use her or hurt her, he probably won't try it when it comes to Cyntoia if he know what's good for him. Now, I know that might sound a little facetious, but see, the reason why I know a lot of people was going at me and criticizing the last video and not liking the last video because of some things I said about Cyntoia. The media, if you get your news off of Instagram or Facebook and stuff like that, and you're seeing all, a lot of people are certainly sympathetic to her, as am I, but it's a limited sympathy for her. Okay, Cyntoia is, I'll say, lucky to have only done 15 years based on what she did. Now, a lot of people are just like, the stories are so messed up and misconstrued out there about her. I could see why people would think that, poor Cyntoia, like she's this broken bird. But the truth of the matter is, Cyntoia deserved to be in jail. She just did. She killed a man that did nothing to her. A lot of people are under the impression that Cyntoia killed her pimp, and that is not true. Cyntoia killed a sleeping man who did not harm her, who did not sleep with her, who picked her up. Now, again, who's to say that he did or didn't pick her up for sex? But I'm going by what she said. She said that she told this man that she was 19 years old. He asked her, was she homeless? She said yes. He bought her something to eat, took her back home for a place to sleep. Okay? She did not sleep with this man. Point blank, period. He did not touch her. He did not attack her, as all these stories are out there. These erroneous stories are out there about what happened the night of his murder, of Johnny Allen's murder. He did not touch her. All you got to do is read the transcripts. Read it from her mouth, okay? Cyntoia shot this man in the back of the head, robbed him, took his truck, drove to a Walmart, had a friend meet her. Then she wanted the friend to help her go back and rob the man some more. Then and she also took his guns, okay? Then when the cops finally caught up to her, it's a long story, okay? You can read the transcripts. I'll try to post the link in my description box. But when the cops finally got, and questioned her and all this stuff, she started to confess to it. And one of the detectives even recall her calling one of her friends. They let her make a phone call. She called and was laughing about the fact that she blew a man's head off. Okay, she said she blew his brains out. She hit a fat lick, as she told some of the other girls that was in her cell block or, next to her in jail, as she was basically bragging about shooting this man, blowing his brains out, okay, because she wanted to see how it felt to kill somebody. Now, I probably would have had sympathy for her if it had been her pimp, if it had been the guy. But the truth of the matter is she robbed Johnny Allen and she took the money and the car. She went back to him after robbing him. The plan was all along to rob this man. Now, I'm only saying that to say, please read the transcripts out of Cyntoia's own mouth before you make judgments about poor Cyntoia. I'm saying that she did it, okay? She did it. She definitely did it. And all these people saying she's innocent, she should have never been there. Please understand that she should have. However, I do think she's done her time. She should have been tried as a juvenile, which means she would have probably been getting out anyway right now. I think she should have always been tried as a juvenile. And that's where I think that she deserved clemency. I think she deserved clemency because she was tried as an adult as opposed to a juvenile, which means she technically served her time. All right. And she gets a fresh start. She gets to start over. And I am glad about it. And so for all those people that was like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. No, just please, just refrain from getting your information off of like a Instagram meme or free Cyntoia Brown. Free her for what? Okay. Now, although I'm glad she's out, I feel like these celebrities jump on these bandwagons and they don't even know why they're jumping on it, and they don't know anything about the information. They really could have used their clout to help somebody that was actually innocent. But like I said, she served her time. I am glad that this girl gives me a second chance. And I hope that this man, Jay Long, is not out to use her or out to get her, because I do think that this is a rehabilitated woman. I think she deserves a second chance at love, or a second chance, or a chance to actually be loved, because she didn't have much of that in her life. And so I hope for her sake, he is not using her. And I think that's where she was coming from. I think Pam was coming from a place of love. I don't think she was being bitter by warning Cyntoia about this man. I think she was just trying to warn her to be cautious. But again, this is a woman that's been locked up for 15 years. And, she wanted to be loved. She has a man. She has a husband. I wish them well. And I hope he is on the up and up. That's all I can say. I really do. I hope this man